Hi and welcome to today's video using the ball against the wall for most of the time. So I highly recommend you have one of these balls close at home so that you can do a lot of different things. So we're going to start today just going through an overall body feel, but placing the ball just in your lower spine. Now, if you've ever been into a Pilates studio and worked on a reformer, we begin usually with an exercise called footwork. So we're going to start with our feet in hip distance apart. In the first few, we're just going to start to roll the ball up the back and the body starts to go down into a squat. So if you're feeling like you need more space away from the wall because your knees are going too far forward, you can always move your feet further out. So there's nothing wrong with your knees going over the fronts of your toes. It's actually a very good, healthy function to develop in the knees. So on our next, we're going to raise our arms out in front of us and then standing up. So each time we add in a layer of movement, it makes it a little bit more challenging for the entire body. So we've got two more of these, and just making sure that your arms at this stage are only going to the shoulder height. Hold your position here, and then we're going to raise the arms towards the ceiling and back down. So maintaining the squat is quite a challenge. So really feeling into your feet, underneath the big toe, the baby toe, and the back of the heel. And you can feel like a little gecko foot suctioning down onto the floor to keep good stability through the lower part of you as you do this challenging little arm series, and then bringing yourself back. From here, you're just going to rise up onto the balls of the feet, and we want to keep the heels sort of aiming forward towards the toes. So you don't want to roll your heels in or out. So a good band across all 10 toes, and we're going to start again just with arms resting for now. You know, if you've been doing this a few times and you already know the sequence and you feel like adding the arms from the beginning, by all means go ahead. But I'm already starting to puff and we've only done one exercise. So taking your time through the movement, focusing on the alignment of your legs. Add the arms again, raising them forward and bringing them back down. So you could imagine that your arms are wading through water just to give yourself an extra little feel of resistance. You could feel like you're pushing the air up in front of you and then pushing the air low and down behind you. On the next one, we're going to stay down again. We're going to flip the arms to face in, and we're going to open the arms out and bringing them back. So ideally, I do 5 of these so that I can keep counting and talking with you. If I miss the 5 mark, don't worry, it'll all be beneficial in the end anyway. And then bringing it all the way back and lower the heels down. So we're going to add on to the movement, and as we go down this time, the arms are going to stay out in front of us, and what you're going to begin with is a heel raise on one foot and then lower, and then the other foot and lower. So as we're alternating our heels lifting, what you don't want to do is bounce the body up and down. So it's just the rolling of your foot up into the air, keeping those 5 sets of toes on the ground. This is harder than you think to talk and do, so I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. One more time to the side, and then bringing yourself all the way up for a little rest. So we're going to go down and we're going to enjoy both feet at the same time. So always, if this is too much for you, stick with just the one foot at a time. It's so beneficial anyway. All right, so from here, we're going to be making sure shoulders are staying low and away from your ears. And we raise the heels and lower the heels. And lift and lower. So only 3 more to go. And 2. And then the final one, we're going to stay in that little lift and you're going to bounce up and down. 2 and 3, 4 and 5. Lower the heels and stand yourself all the way back up. We're going to go for a couple more rounds. So this time we're just going to do that with our feet in a turnout position. So widen the leg stance, open the feet out to the side. And we're going to include our arms immediately. So as we lower down, we're going to send the arms out to the sides as well, and then bringing yourself up. So feel like you've got good pressure from the heels to help push you up. And as you're coming down, that ball is just an assist. It's not a reliance. So make sure you haven't lent your whole body weight over behind it, but you could still feel like you were a little bit more upright. And 2 more of these. And then last one. So as we did on our previous version, we're now going to rise up onto the toes, and then from there we're going to go into the squat. Flip your palms, lift the arms, lower the arms, rotate, and standing up. So a little bit of an add-on. Down you go, flip palms, raise arms, open, flip, and stand. So we're maintaining our lift on the balls of our feet, and then adding in this new level of complication to the exercise, really going to challenge your brain's ability for coordination. So strengthening your neural pathways, always a good thing to do in movement. We've got one more, I think, I hope, and we take the arms up, open, flip, stand, and then finally lowering the heels down. Well done. All right, I've already got a sweat up, so that's pretty cool. So from here, we're going to start with the arms lengthened. The feet are going to be flat on the floor for our first variation, and you want your hands roughly at your shoulder height. We're going to go into a push-up series, so we're going to bend into the elbows, bringing the body forward, and then pressing yourself away. So this is just our warm-up of our movement, which is a really lovely way just to start to feel the ball is a little unsteady, and as you're coming forward, you need a lot of work happening through the back of the shoulders to make sure you don't collapse or throw your head forward. So just like a nice easy plank of wood traveling forward and backward. We've got one more just like that. And then maintaining those feet flat on the floor, start to walk the ball up the wall. So you're going to find a position that's comfortable in your shoulder area. Have a tiny little bit of a lean into the ball surface, and then start the sliding up and down. So your shoulder blades are moving up towards the ears and then down towards your hips. So we don't overly do this movement, so I'm not trying to squeeze so that my neck is shortening. I'm really feeling, can I isolate how my shoulder blades are sliding and gliding on the back of the rib cage, and then walking your hands back to their beginning point. So we're going to do that series again, adding on a few things, but on your toes. So step yourself a little away so that as you rise up, you still have a good position through your arms. Bringing the body forward, you may notice that you start to shake a little bit, and that's quite normal. And again, wide position of the elbows as you bring your trunk forward. So remember, your nose, your chest bone, your navel, your pubic bone are all in a straight line with each other as you're coming forward. So you're not changing the shape of any of that structure. And we'll go for two more of these. And then last time, bringing it in. All right, and then lowering the feet down, step that little bit closer now as you walk your ball back up towards the wall. From here, you're going to bring your left foot forward, take your right leg back behind you, and you're going to go into a lunge. So you're going to bend your left knee, stretching down through the right leg. So I'm aiming my foot to the floor, getting a big stretch down the back of my right calf, and then I'm going to lengthen through the front leg, and the ball slightly comes down. And then I go forward again with the knee, and lengthening into the back of my right leg. So you're going to put your foot where it feels the most comfortable for your stretch. And really the emphasis is on the back leg. And then of course, because our arms are overhead, you just want to make sure that you're not creating tension in your neck and shoulders. And we've got two more on this side. So the most common thing that what you'll notice happen when you take the ball up the wall is that you can potentially flare into the ribs and drop into the shoulders. So we don't want to do that. You want to still find that lovely long line from fingers all the way down to your back foot. All right, we're going to switch legs. So changing over, right foot forward, left foot back behind you. Going into the lunge, folding that right knee towards the wall and lengthening into the arms. So feel that left calf getting its good stretch, and then bringing yourself back up again. And again, we're not stretching into the hamstring stretch of the front leg. We're just changing so that there's this traveling forward, traveling backward movement through the release of the calf on the back leg. All right, we've got two more to go on this one. And I always like to think, how did the other side feel in comparison to this one? And you may notice things obviously of the calf because that's what we're working, But maybe there are other things showing up. What is it like in the depth of your knee bend or in your shoulder stability? And then coming back again. All right, let's bring both legs together. We're going to send those arms back up to the wall again. And instead of doing the shoulder shrug, we really want to keep those shoulders in place. You're going to rise up onto your toes and lower your heels. So only 5 as we push right up on the toes and down. So strengthening into the calves that we just released. And then visualizing that heel, as I mentioned before, pushing forward towards the wall in front of you. 2 more, we're going to stay in the top of the rise. So maintaining this position, and then guess what? We're going to do a squat. So you're going to bend yourself down and stretch yourself up. Keeping the arms overhead, keeping your balance on your toes. And 3 more to go as we lower and lift. And 2, and then 1 more to go, down and bringing it all the way back. Well done. All right, so we're going to lower the ball down, and from here we're going to take a lie down onto your back. So we're climbing quite close to the ball. Again, you're going to choose where you set yourself up based on how it feels in your body. So making your way comfortable onto your back, start to walk the ball up the wall. So we're starting with our feet just touching, maybe heels. Maybe if you've got more flexibility and you want to bring your feet over that way, that'll give you quite a stretch at your toes or tops of the ankles, but just having the heels on is sufficient. From here, we're going to take it into a bridge. So raising your hips away from the wall, from the floor, picking them up towards the ceiling. So the ball moves slightly up the wall as you do that motion, and then bringing your body back down. Now we know the ball is an unsteady surface, so this is going to be challenging. So as you're doing that, you don't want to feel like you're using too much tension. The glutes are working, the hamstrings are working, but you're not having to overwork them, which means you've got a balance in muscle recruitment so that you're not beginning to cramp out into the hamstrings, which is a very common thing that occurs. The movement is just as any bridge you've ever done off of the floor, nice and smooth and controlled. We have 2 more to go. And again, just noticing, where are you taking more of the weight? Do you feel like the ball is moving slightly from one side to the other? And then we'll go 1 more time, and this is when it becomes really interesting. So we're going to maintain our lift, maintain 1 leg on the ball. I'm leaving my right leg on as I bring my left leg toward me, and then tap the ball. And again, away and tap. So yes, there's extra work going on my right leg. 2 more to go on this side. And then if you need to, you can break and come down and reset. If you want the challenge, stay up, reposition the pelvis line, and then let's go again. Right leg leaves and returns. So the left leg is balanced. It's not creating undue tension for you. And the scissoring of the leg toward you is not vigorous. It is controlled. You're working through the fold of your hip. 2 more to go. And then final one. Rest the foot back to the ball and then rolling the body all the way down. Let's walk that ball smoothly down the wall and just bring it in towards the backs of your thighs. So if you were set up correctly, you will find that you're not touching the wall anymore with the ball. Just open your arms apart. Take a moment here as your body just settles back. So we were in an inversion. Sometimes you need a break. If you found that challenging, there's nothing wrong with just having a chill out for a moment. So we're going to start to do a little bit of rolling of the ball to the side. As it does, it's going to feel like, oh, I got a crack in my spine, isn't that delicious? And then going over to the other side. So the hip is going to peel off, but the shoulder blade is going to stay steady underneath you. And when you do the side-to-side movement, there should feel no other stresses in your body. So it shouldn't feel like you're trying to hold your arm and shoulder and head down to the floor. You're very relaxed. My palms are facing open to the ceiling. There's nothing vigorous happening in the upper body. I'm just enjoying a little shift from one side to the other. All right, from here we're going to make our way off the ball. It's going to stay against the wall as we just spin off to the side and come up into sitting with it behind our lower back again, or back area, upper back. So in this position, we'll just start with knees bent and hands laced behind your back. We're going to take it into a little upper back opening. So just resting the head and shoulders on. You'll notice that I have got no connection of my lower back to the ball, and then bringing my head and shoulders forward. Now, this is not a massive stretch, but it is incredibly revitalizing, just to give a little bit of space to the lungs and the heart. Feeling your chest bone sliding up as though it was a zipper coming up to the top, and then moving away. So just 2 more like this. I know sometimes in our shorter series we feel like we're going to be punching right through many exercises, but you know, the quality of the movement and the precision of the movement are all still incredibly important as you do your moves. So on the next one, we're going to stay backward. So I want you to find a place where you can rest your head without it being tilted back. So if you're not comfortable there, just inch your bottom a tiny bit further forward so that you're very relaxed through the neckline. Send the arms into a right angle shape next to the side of you. Elbows at the height of your shoulders. You're going to flip your forearms backward, aiming your fingertips towards the wall. And then from there, we're going to slide the arms up on a diagonal to meet the wall, maybe if your arms are long enough, and then bending the elbows back down and flip the forearms forward. And again, rotating the arms back and then stretching them over and behind. Now, this angle of rotation we're doing in our shoulder is very deep, which means if you don't have that range of movement, start with your arms a little lower down and do the motion in a different variation or different plane of movement. But this is great for those small muscles at the back of our shoulder. We call the group of them the rotator cuff muscles. They keep our upper arm in the socket joint, so that we are not impinging through our arms. All right, one last one as we reach our arms all the way back and then bringing them forward and then releasing from there. We're gonna make our way to roll onto our tummy. So that was a nice assisted extension, and now we're going to be working ourselves up with gravity into extension. So lying yourself down, just resting your hands somewhere on the ball. If you've got the range of movement, you'll go higher. If you don't, you'll just go a little bit more to the side. So having your head not quite on the floor, but the ears between the biceps. You're going to start to roll the chest up a little bit and bring the ball slightly closer to you. And then lower yourself down and the ball will move slightly further away. And then repeating, bringing the chest bone up, sliding those shoulders down, and then moving back to your starting point. So just 3 more of these. So this takes a lot of shoulder mobility and strength. So if this is not achievable for you today, just bring your hands down to the mat surface instead. And last one as we bring ourselves all the way up. Now, holding the position, we're going to lie down a little bit lower towards the ground. And what you're going to do is keep your left hand on the ball, take your right hand to the opposite side as though you're trying to reach to the outside of the ball. And then from there, you're going to turn. If you can rest your head down and just get a nice long lengthened stretch underneath the left arm, into the chest, into the back. Take a good breath in and out. And I'm going to switch to the opposite side. So right hand on the top of the ball, left hand reaching out on the diagonal. Turn your head to the side. Rest it if it feels comfortable. And then bringing yourself all the way back from there. So from here, we're going to leave that ball again just where it is. And actually, I'm going to apologize. We're going to use the wall for your back position. So let's take a seat against the wall and bring the ball out in front of you. So hands are out in front, again, nice and long position. Use the wall for the reference of your head, shoulders, and pelvic position. And from here, we're going to start the nod of the head away from the wall, peeling your back body off. Let's go only as far as you can still feel the top of your pelvis touching against the wall, and then rolling yourself back towards you. So the movement is segmental from the head, neck, shoulders peel off, upper back, middle back, and then lower back is staying mostly against the wall, and then rolling yourself up. Now, if you are finding it challenging to have your legs long without actually being able to sit up tall, you can always bend your knees and do the same movement. You'll get just as much joy from it as we are getting with longer legs. We'll go for 2 more, just an easy movement of the ball away from you, and then bringing it all the way back up toward you. And I already forgot how many we had to do. I think this is our last one. That happens sometimes when I'm in the moment or I'm talking through things. I forget to count. So it's just one of those things. All right, so from here we're going to take ourselves to finish with the finale without the wall. We're going to be sitting onto the ball. So this one is a bit of a challenge for most people. We're going to be doing a balance. So the first thing is you need to have your knees a little bit wider apart from each other. It doesn't work as well when your knees are close together. And then you're just going to lift a foot up, hugging onto the side of the ball. And then of course we do that on the other side as well. So from this position, it is just a little bit of a balancing game. So as the ball moves, you're moving, and you're just holding gently into the sides of the ball surface. Now this takes maybe a little bit of practice over years and years, or maybe you've got it like that. Either way, let me know about this one in the comments below, whether you do or don't like it. My challenge for you would normally be to be here for at least a minute and then to improve that as you go along. But let's take a rest from there, and how about we just finish our class with that today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do, and see you again in the next video soon.